Dun, 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 dun. We're starting. Yes, we're starting the ESH News, and today we are happy to host over here Mr. 007, or is it Richard, or whatever kind of like nickname you want to be to have for
You
yourself.
can, Richie. Most people call me Richie.
Richie. Okay, that's good. I got myself a nickname a few days ago. I'm called from now on Near ESH News Shoshani. I'm trying to promote myself as a wrestler in one of those days, to have like a wrestler's name. Anyway, Richie, I'm very glad to have you over here in ESH News. Like over the last I know weeks or so, I kind of like figured out what I wanted to do in this ish news of mine, and the main focus that I have, everyone in Flat Earth are focusing in different topics, different things. So I decided myself that I will be involved with the people themselves of Flat Earth, the ones who are giving us all the information, all the theories, all the opinions. And I think that they are the most interesting part with all this flat Earth, because without them there won't be any kind of like flat Earth at all if they want the people that will give the words. So my quest over here in the current Ash News is to get familiar with the people, to get inspiration from them, to get some kind of like answers, I guess, to all kinds of like questions of mine, and because I discovered that this is the most intriguing part and the interesting part with Flat Earth, just to get to know the people and open up your mind. And with that, yeah, let's get to know you, Richie. Tell us where you're from. I don't know, just in general, what you do in your life.
Okay. I mean, I've got a fairly, like with everybody, I've got a life story. I'm 42 years old now, so I've got a few years under my belt and quite a lot of experience in different areas of life, from the really good to the really bad. I was born in Basingstoke in England. Um, I lived there until 2009. I went away for a bit in 1999. I went away for a year and traveled around the Greek islands and started playing my music professionally and getting paid to sing to people, sing cover songs and things to people. Found that I could make a living out of making music without going into the music industry.
Without being a slave
Which
to the system.
Yeah, I mean, I never really wanted to be. The music industry always seemed like a really dangerous place to be in anyway, especially for me, because I know what I'm like, and there would certainly be, if I'd been exposed to it at a young age, there would have been temptations and things that they would have got me. It would have got me. I don't think I ever would have sold my soul wittingly or willingly, but I think I probably would have ended up getting into a really bad situation. So um, I didn't pursue a career in music. It just happened in the end.
All right.
In 2009, that's when I pursued my career in music.
What are you
In
playing?
2009, I play guitar and I sing,
Okay.
and it's all music from the last 60 years, basically.
I have to say that I kind of like heard one of the track that you sent me earlier, and I particularly myself I love it. It's great chill music, and I don't know, it seems like that every person reflects his own personality in the music. So I think that you could transmit it in the right way, at least from what I heard.
That's the song that the song I sent you this morning, that's the one that I've been the tune that I've been writing the last couple of days. But the work that I do is I do all cover songs. You know, I play all songs that have already been made famous. I don't play any of my original stuff. So.
Right, and like in general, you like more like your position in life now that you're like performing in front of live people and not, relying on that people will hear you other places. Because I think that it has got a lot of like energies. The first the connection between you playing the music and an audience that listens. That am I correct?
It's one thing that it's been a really it's been very evident to me how audiences have changed over the last 20 years or 30 years. Audiences used to be, you could always get a tough crowd, but on the whole, people were always very enthusiastic, and they when live music was playing, people would get involved and they'd express themselves. And they'd express themselves at the end. They'd express appreciation and enthusiasm for the artist, by applauding them afterwards, whether they were good or bad. It was all about the energy that was put into the performance. And if you got one person clapping at the end, then everybody would start to clap. But now people are so reserved. They're so
critical.
Self-critical, critical of others. They're just sat there, or they're not paying any attention. They've got their faces buried in their phones. It's extremely difficult to get an audience going now. And if you want the whole place to clap, there's got to be at least 6 or 7 people start clapping before the whole place will start clapping. It doesn't matter how good you are. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Ed Sheeran could come down and sing a song, and sat in my seat, he could sit there and sing a song, and he'd get exactly the same response as I do, because nobody'd know it was Ed Sheeran, for one thing. They'd just be like, oh, that was the guy singing, oh, he was good. I've actually had multiple people telling me that they prefer my version of Ed Sheeran's songs to his own version. So they decided to put some rock music on. I might just go and turn this down, actually.
All right. Let's. We can talk music for hours. I myself was a failure in every kind of instrument I tried to play. So somewhere in my life, I decided that. Hang on.
You're not a failure unless you give up.
Oh, so this is what I did. Yeah, this is what I did. I gave up.
You don't give up. Never give up. You should never give up.
No, I'll tell you what I did actually. I didn't give up on music, because music is my passion in life. So what I did, I started to collect music, and started to. I said to myself, okay, I love music, so I started to gather music. It was. At the golden age where like CDs turn into MP3s or something like that, and I started to collect all the music I could gather from all kinds of styles, and decided that I would be some kind of a DJ. I played on the radio and some clubs and stuff, and this is like, and my thrill actually is when people come over to my place to host in my living room, and I know exactly what kind of music is suited to this situation and for these people, and this is the way that I transfer music to people. Okay,
You're the perfect friend to have, aren't you? The perfect friend to have in a social situation is let Nick put the music on, man. You'll
Exactly.
get it right.
Yeah, I took that seat, and this is more or less again my position as well when I'm talking about flat Earth, okay? Because I'm also the one who's used to ask the questions, and besides that, I found out that talking about music, okay, the relation between music and the flat Earth is that the playing music with other people, okay, with like a band, is very similar to talk about flat Earth with other people. like conduct some kind of like an orchestra or something like a common voice together that comes out of all the people's voices, and this is very similar to music. At least this is like the connection that I found, because I saw that lots of people who are involved with music are people who are involved with flat Earth from some reason. Do you have any kind of like thought about that? Why is that always happening?
I mean, I think one of the things is that it's people, musicians.
Can you get closer to the microphone? Thank you.
Sorry, was that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's coming off this mic. It should be coming from this one. Strange. Okay.
Okay, yeah, better.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do actually. While I'm talking, I'm going to get this other microphone set up. So.
Yeah, better now.
Yeah, I think the thing is, musicians are quite often not afraid to express themselves, especially if they have an opposing view. A musician will express that and their opposing view in the music quite a lot, most of the time. And if you look at the Sex Pistols and punk, the whole punk movement really was a
anti-institutionalized or something like that.
Yeah, it was an expression, wasn't it? I mean, okay, so we know that the music industry now has been used to socially engineer people.
Yeah.
So they always wanted it to happen. You have to ask that question as well. Why that? What is that? Is that a benevolent thing that caused them to do that, or is that just part of the bigger plan? But yeah, musicians find it easier to express themselves, even if it's just through their music.
And when you feel that,
sorry, go on.
And you feel that flat Earth is also like some kind of like a self-expression.
Okay, this is so we're gonna have to dive right in with this.
All right.
This one then.
And buckle up.
Because yeah, I sort of mentioned this yesterday. This is my position on flat Earth.
Yeah.
This Earth realm is observably flat from all altitudes, from all angles. It's basically observably flat. When they take the weather balloons up to 178,000 feet above sea level, and the horizon's still risen up to be totally flat as far as the eye can see, as far as the camera can see. And hang on one second.
Yeah.
Nacho, can you just turn it down a little bit, mate? Sorry, dude. Just turn it down a bit. Thank you. Sorry, mate. Oh, I hate Guns N' Roses. Yeah, so it was. Oh, I've lost my place now. Yeah, it's observably flat.
Yeah.
Because none of us have actually explored the entire room, so to speak, and we can't trust the information that we're being given. So we can't say that the Earth is absolutely definitely flat. We can only say that it looks flat. It seems to be flat. Common sense says that it's flat, because as far as the camera can see, it's flat.
Mm-hmm.
So common sense naturally says it's flat. But we can't prove that, because we can't go there. We can't go to the edge. Nobody has seen the edge. Nobody has walked up to the dome, to the firmament, and tapped their knuckle on it and said, ding, ding, ding. Yep, that's the edge right there. Nobody's done that. So we can't say, yes, it is this. All we're doing is then setting another paradigm. In my honest opinion, through the last 6 years of research that I've done, I've come to the conclusion that this Earth is a created realm.
Mm-hmm.
You could call it a matrix, if to put it into terms that younger people will understand, that it's some sort of matrix. Mm-hmm. You could say it's computer, but then that makes most people think about computers. Well, if you think about it, we are computers. We are biological computers.
Yeah.
We are the artificially intelligent sentient robots that we're trying to create right now. We are already them. That's us. Hello. I'm an artificially intelligent sentient
Yeah,
robot
I'm
that's
actually,
been
I'm
that's been
actually,
given a spirit.
I'm actually been investigating lately this whole concept of that we have another network over here in this world, which is like you have the internet, okay? You
Yeah,
have the same
yeah,
network, but replace computers with humans and bytes with energies or whatever you want to call it. Meaning
yeah.
that all people are connected to each other and they all can like transfer energies between each other, like over even different time lapse.
No, I mean, is this the Elon Musk thing?
No,
No,
this is mine.
right. Right. Okay. This isn't. You're not talking about having hardware hardwired
No,
into
no, no,
the
no, no,
human
no.
body.
I'm talking
You're
about
talking about
natural.
you
I'm talking about natural
natural stuff.
network between people that God
You're talking.
actually existed, created for us. And this is our kind of these energies are lots of the things that the New Age is talking about. You know about with astrology and energetic treatment and all this word. I think it works out in a different network. Okay,
Yeah.
different network of humans connecting connecting to each other
I
and
mean,
transferring
that
data instead of computers. You know.
that right there is Tesla. That's
Yeah.
Nikolai Tesla
Hmm.
level. That's. I mean, that's the ether.
Yeah.
That's talking about using the ether that we. This is a completely natural thing anyway. We're just not tuned into it at the moment because our bodies have been so polluted. Our bodies have been polluted beyond all recognition of what they originally were
Hmm.
and what they originally, what we were actually able to do as human beings.
Yeah.
I
I
think,
remember one video of you saying that can die or something like that. Am I correct?
sorry, we
Can
can't die.
D, can D, can die, something like that. You said about the things you ate over there. I remember one of your videos.
Um,
No, you don't recall that. Okay, no,
I
never
don't,
mind.
I don't know if. Well, no, I'm just trying to think if you're talking about when I was saying about once you're fully consciously aware,
Yeah.
then nothing technically in this realm can hurt you. Nothing in this realm can hurt you.
Yeah.
Nothing can harm you. None of the chemicals, anything can actually harm you once you're fully consciously aware, because you're a co-creator within the realm. So your physical state is a direct reflection of your emotional and spiritual state.
Hmm.
So once your mind and your heart are connected, you are able. I think it's like that thing in our genes, in our DNA,
Yeah.
the little switch that switches at age 21, around 21, and says, "No, I'm not going to recreate any more cells now." And then you go into apathy, into
Yeah.
what's the word?
Lack of creativity.
Yeah, no, entropy. You go
Okay.
into entropy.
Yeah.
So it's. I think once you're fully consciously aware, then that switch will be flicked back again, and that's why the stories in the Bible talk about Noah and his sons, and some of the other characters living for 700 plus years.
Yeah.
Because I think we really did live for 700 plus years because we were eating right, we were thinking right,
I think
we had a correct perception of the world.
I think that
The
the
earth.
greatest concept is that maybe on those days or whatever, people didn't have the term which is so commonly used nowadays, which is Judgment Day. Okay,
Yeah.
meaning
Yeah.
like Judgment Day was a term of religion that they used for thousands of years to scare and control people, and like
That
now.
was the Catholics really that brought that
Ah,
in,
no,
wasn't
all
it?
of
The
them,
Catholics.
all of them had this Judgment Day, and nowadays,
Mm.
like science took this term of Judgment Day and started putting numbers into this, and to put
Mm.
science into this, and he calls it all kinds of things like asteroids or I don't know aliens or
Mm.
global warming or things like that. That they actually their intentions is to scare us. Judgment Day is not coming soon, and if you are well aware of that, yeah.
You understand? You have to understand why that is, because so this realm created in my opinion, there is an Almighty, there's a Most High, there's something that orchestrated and conducted this entire thing.
Yeah.
We were a result of that. As a result, like our higher selves, our spirit was a result of that. We were created eternal beings. Part of that, we were involved in the creation of our physical avatars. Our physical avatars are meant for us to experience our creation in the physical sense.
Yeah.
And as an individual, completely free, unique, blank being, you know?
Yeah.
To come in here with no memory. You come in here with no memory because all the memories in your avatar is in your brain. It hasn't made yet. You have the DNA. You have the memory in your DNA. So that's where your talents come from. That's where, all of the... Because I do believe in reincarnation. I believe that souls have been reincarnated. That's the thing. I think that we are the same souls that were walking around 2,000 years ago, brother. I really do. With my heart of hearts. I know that we are the same souls that were walking around 2,000 years ago.
I'll tell you something about the creation story with Adam. They say that God created Adam in his image. Okay. Now I've been struggling pretty hard with that last few years or so. And I said to myself, okay, it's written down over here in the Bible that it's created in His image, but I'm not looking like God. Okay, I don't think that God looks like a person. Now, so I was saying to myself, so what do they mean? Okay, over there that I was created in His image, and I finally got it into the conclusion that He means the main character of God. Okay, we got the main character of God, and what is the main character of God, Richie? It's the creativity. Okay, He's the creator, and so is He. So are we. Humans are creators. We create art. We create technology. We create other people. We create.
I think it's much bigger than that, mate. I think it runs much, much, much more on a fundamentally energy level, right? I feel so strongly that God created this realm for us to recreate within, and we were created in God's image, as in we are little creators, which means that with more than just our thoughts, with more than just our physical actions, with more than what we actually physically do, we're able to create. This realm was designed for you to be able to attract the things that you need, right? This realm becomes what you need it to be for you to be the best that you can be. So when you're in a positive state of mind, when you're confident, you feel good, you know your purpose, you know what you're doing, you've got focus, everything's blessed, everything's happy, everything works and clicks into place. You see these guys that just seem to glide through life like that's it. Wow, everything's just coming to them like, wow. This is what they did with The Secret. They took The Secret, they took some fundamental truth from The Secret, removed it, put it over here, didn't tell anybody about it, and said, yeah, this is the secret here. All you've got to do is wish for what you want really hard. Write it on a piece of paper and throw it to the universe, or all this crap, right? Yeah. The secret is this. Whatever you focus your attention on, that's what's going to come to you. And whatever you focus your energy, your emotion, your intentions, everything, what they're focused on and in, and how you're perceiving what's coming to you, that's what writes your reality.
And
that's what will become.
Do you think that the flat Earth is some way signifies this inner peace, this inner clearance?
For me, my friend, it doesn't matter what shape the Earth is. Not at all. It doesn't make any difference to us. Why does it matter? Because you will never, ever, ever, ever be able to go further than, in one day you can only go so far. You can only do so many things. the point of us being here is not to work out what shape the Earth is or to worry about it in any way, shape, or form. Right? If you ask the sun, why do you shine? Why do you come every day and shine? And what are you made of?
Mm-hmm.
The sun will turn around and say, why does it matter? I'm here every day.
Yeah.
Am I not?
Mm-hmm.
I come every day. I'm on time. I'm never late. I don't get drunk. I don't have hangovers. I don't have bad moods. The only thing that affects your perceiving me or whatever is, you know, the clouds and the weather, and that's been manipulated by us right now. Our weather has not been our own weather for 20 years, more than 20 years, man.
Mm-hmm.
More than 20 years. I live in Tenerife, the Canary Islands, where it's meant to be perpetually summer.
Yeah.
Perpetually summer, always nice, never rainy, never horrible. Sorry, I nearly swore then. But the weather, the last 2 years since they started chemtrailing over the islands, weather's been totally unreliable. It's been wet, it's been cold. It's not got as hot as it usually has, or it's been hotter in odd times, you know, when it's not normally hot, and it's got baking hot, and then the next day it's rained.
Yeah.
That's not Tenerife. That's not what the weather is like here. It proves beyond any reasonable doubt that they're manipulating the weather now. Totally manipulating it.
Yeah. I can totally
that's the only
understand
thing
you about this. It's kind of like last few days over here in Israel, we also had those weird clouds over here and those trails and all of that.
Chem clouds, man. They're like sort of undulating. They look like, basically it looks like the sky is water.
Yeah.
And there's some sort of thing that's been poured in, some sort of funny liquid that's been poured into water. Mm-hmm. They remind me of. Did you ever see The Never-Ending Story?
Yeah.
The clouds in The Never-Ending Story. Yeah. the way the clouds form, they come in. And I used to think when I was a kid, oh man, it'd be so cool if clouds really did look like that, but they don't, because they didn't. In the 80s, clouds didn't look like that. You got nimbus and cumulonimbus, and you know, puffy white clouds that look like cotton wool. Yeah. But you never got them coming in to the sky like they do in that movie, like it's being something being poured into liquid. Oh. And that's exactly what they're like now.
Mm-hmm. Actually, my friend, like yesterday, we had like 3 days ago, we saw those trails in the sky, and yesterday there was the first rain over here in Israel, and a friend of mine telling me that he was walking outside in that rain. He said that it wasn't like water that was going on him. It was like plastic. It felt like it was plastic dropping on him. Weird. Anyway,
it didn't feel. It felt synthetic.
Yeah, it felt synthetic. It felt like drops of plastic of plastic bags is going down on him. And the thing is that I have problem with being occupied in my head with that, because I'm telling myself, oh my God, we got all sorts of conspiracy theories. It's so plenty, and I have so little time in my day to be involved in all of that. Okay, I'm with this flat Earth thing, and I'm like trying to solve this question, and we got like tons of other questions that people are lying about, and we need to investigate them. So how do we manage all this?
So right. Ever since I was a kid, I knew that the fundamental answer to life, right, was going to be a really, really simple thing. It's going to be the simplest answer ever. Right. I always knew that. What they did 500 years ago, if it was indeed 500 years ago, because all evidence is pointing to the fact that actually we can't trust anything from like 200 years ago. Excuse me a second. Sorry, I've just got somebody trying to call me. Mm-hmm.
Tell them we're on Flat Earth Talk now. No.
Yeah, you can hear me still, can't you? It's okay. So Copernicus didn't want to release his heliocentric model, right? Mm-hmm. He died, and then they released it. Yeah. The heliocentric model is what has basically separated everybody from the truth, because what they've done is they've stolen our perception at the fundamental level. They've stolen our perception. How we perceive this world, what we perceive this world to be.
Mm-hmm.
They've convinced everybody of a total fabrication, an absolute fabrication.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all sat here believing this fabrication. It's because of our own personal individual ability to realize reality, right, through our own perception, to make it real through just from believing in it. Just from believing in it, you will make it real. Mm-hmm. So you still enough. If the collective consciousness, the perception of the collective consciousness is a lie, then it chucks everything in this realm out of kilter. Because this realm isn't a globe. We're not on a ball spinning at 1,000 miles an hour around the sun that's 93 million miles away. It's a fact. Mm-hmm. Because of the parameters that they've given us for that ball. They've given us the model and they've stuck by that model like glue. Mm-hmm. Like their lives depend on it. That model is gospel. Mm-hmm. 25,000 miles diameter, approximately 4,000 miles circumference. And well, that sets in place then. That's a paradigm that sets parameters where, because it's in all depictions of it, it's a globe, and it's got this circumference. That means that there has to be the law of curvature. The law of curvature has to exist, mm-hmm. which means that it has to be measurable on this earth. It has to be measurable. Because they say it's 25,000 miles circumference, so it's a 8 inches drop every mile squared. So where I'm sat here on this island, there's islands that are 125 kilometers away, and when you put the law of curvature in, it says that they should be completely, totally and utterly obscured by the curve, mm-hmm. because they're down here.
Now, I do think that once you start talking about what happened 500 years ago, I think that, at least in my perspective, and this is like a hunch, I don't have any kind of like proofs for that, but I do think that once the modern science started to pop up with the heliocentric model, I think it was in cooperation with the religions that were back then, because there's no other explanation why the Pope decided to adopt this heliocentric model. I think it was.
Oh yes, there is. There's a big explanation for that.
Yeah.
The Pope's not has never been who anybody ever thought that the Pope was. Mm-hmm. The Pope's always been batting for the other side, shall we say? Yeah. The Catholic Church is entirely based upon sun worship.
Yeah,
they've taken the whole birth of the Catholic faith, mm-hmm. came from Constantine uniting all the pagan religions, yeah. seeing the similarities between what they were all saying, mm-hmm. and turn it into the Catholic faith, and it's just everybody's worshipping Baal and Ra, and they don't even know it.
Mm-hmm. The thing is that I think like 500 years ago they invented this new language, okay, the language of let's say science, and this was like a language that was supposed to unite all the different religions, okay. This was a language that was supposed to be understood to all the people over here, that we have like a way to explain the truth. But what they did is inventing a language that have concepts that, like in any other language, that don't happen in real life. Like, I don't know, like say unicorns or something like that. It's a beautiful word in any kind of language, okay, and you can describe it tremendously, but it's not existing, you know. So the same way they put us with those kind of like terms in the science, with heliocentric model, with gravity, with all kinds of things like that they based whole theories on top of them. And then it's crumbling because the base isn't true, and the basic words of science are not really goes with reality.
I think the hardest thing for anybody to grasp is how deep this goes and how far back it goes. Right? Anybody that's really got their ear to the ground has come across mud floods and Tartaria. So there's enough evidence there. I think that the whole thing is another psyop. It's another rabbit hole to get everybody's attention focused in the wrong place, focused in the past, focused on what we know. What we were saying yesterday, Nia. What's the only time that matters?
This present, now.
Right now.
Yeah.
It's the only time that matters.
Yeah.
Because now is the only time you can do anything.
Yeah, right. Future is fake. Future is fake. This is my slogan.
Well, the future is whatever you make it.
Yeah, of course.
The future is whatever you make it out to be. And the past, although it's fixed and there's nothing you can do about what actually happened, what you can change is your perception of what happened.
Yeah.
Right? What people don't understand is we have free will, but you don't understand that just means that you can say yes or no to something. You think that that's all that means. That means, yes, I can say, yes, I want to eat that sandwich, and no, I don't. Or yes, I will smoke that cigarette, and no, I won't. That's my free will.
What is it, creativity?
Free will is how you perceive what you're getting, what's in front of you. It's your free will to perceive how you...
The conception.
What you see in front of you.
What you see in reality.
This glass, right? You can perceive it to be half empty, or you can perceive it to be half full. That's your choice.
Yeah. But the question
is, both of those things.
The question is it tasty or not?
That's the only question. Is like, who cares if it's half full or half empty? What does it taste like?
Yeah, that's what
matters. Are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
And then once it's finished, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and lament the fact that the coffee's gone? And oh my God, and I enjoyed it so much. There's none left. I've drunk it all. Or do you just go and make another cup of coffee?
Yeah, it's simpler, right?
So the mud flood thing in Tartaria. I looked at it. I looked into it quite a lot and quite deeply, and it shows me that they've definitely been lying about our history. There's been things that have happened. There have been massive global seismic events that have caused displacement, that have caused entire villages to sink into the ground. Or be buried by mud and huge landslides, right? And the water, right? Nobody really knows how many cities and towns, even entire countries, are buried under the ocean.
This is like related to the Atlantis story?
Nobody actually knows. This is absolutely related to the Atlantis story, but it's not just Atlantis. They've discovered some place under the North Sea. They've found some village that they didn't know about. There's loads in between, in the North Sea, between England and Scandinavia. There's buried villages, buried towns, all sunk under. There's pyramids. There's probably more pyramids under the water than there are above ground.
I actually think that this old continent, this is exactly from just a hunch. I think it was sunk between India and Egypt, in this territory, because those are the most ancient culture that kind of like remained afterwards.
Do you mean for Atlantis?
Yeah, maybe for Atlantis, maybe for any kind of, I don't know. I'm actually not too much familiar with these theories, but whatever comes sense into my mind that this continent kind of like sank over there.
I get so excited about this subject because, so I'm on the island of Tenerife.
Yeah.
Right? Never chose to come here. Wasn't my decision to come here. Didn't have any plans to come here. For me, everything that's happened in my life happens for a reason.
Of course.
And so me ending up here, I was on the streets. I lived on the streets in Malaga. I was homeless. I'd got into some trouble. Got into some trouble with the law. Ended up on the streets, and and out of nowhere, I was trying to conduct myself in the best possible way and be the best me I could be while I was on the street. So I was in this perpetual state of positive, this is rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Something good's come around the corner.
Right.
And good things started happening, and strangers started sending me money on MoneyGram.
Oh.
20 euros here and 10 euros there. Well, I could get some food, and I stayed in hostels and stuff. And then somebody that I'd known for a long time, but hadn't seen for a long time, called me up and said, "Oh, I've heard what's happened, mate. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to bring you here."
Mm-hmm.
He brought me here to Tenerife, put me up on my feet, gave me a little leg up, and I established myself in Tenerife.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have been able to do so without him. And I thought, man, there's got to be a reason for that. Why would I come to the blooming volcano? Mm-hmm. Apart from the fact that I've always wanted to live next to a volcano.
Yeah.
So it might be partly my manifestation, of my own childhood dream or whatever. But it was more when because I was already woken up. I woke up in 2013. So I was already woken up to hidden history and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I started looking into Atlantis, into the Aryan race, the Aryan gene, because, excuse me one second, because I have blonde hair and blue eyes. I'm very clearly Aryan. Mm-hmm. People think I look either German or Eastern European, but I'm not. I'm actually part North African.
Oh, okay.
My grandfather was from Algeria.
Mm-hmm.
Spoke 11 languages, and what we've been told about the Second World War and Hitler, whilst there is truth in it, it's full of absolute BS, propaganda and lies as well. And what they've done is they've embellished some parts of the story to suit their own narrative. Exactly. One of the things that got distorted was the story about the Aryans. So who the Aryans they were on Atlantis. They were the original inhabitants of Atlantis, which was in the Atlantic Sea, in the Atlantic Ocean between the Americas and the European continents. And Tenerife was one of the outposts. The Canary Islands were one of the outposts. There are ruins here in Tenerife that they don't talk about, they won't tell you about, they don't do any guided tours to or anything, but they're here. They're megaliths, they're megalithic ruins. They were here when the Spanish got here. The Spanish did their best to destroy what was left. They fed everybody a false narrative about the Wanchers, who were the original inhabitants, and they were just basically Cro-Magnon. They were saying that they were slightly less evolved than the Spanish. They were Cro-Magnon cavemen, basically, just cavemen that lived in caves, lived in the rocks. The true story of it is, yes, they lived in the caves that had been exquisitely carved out with the advanced technology that they used to make these, to cut these huge stone things. If you look at some of the pillars in India, man, the huge pillars, marble and whatever, and they're perfectly intricately turned. Something that we still couldn't do to this day now, and they are thousands of years old.
Of course, so this is what I see, that both the Egyptians and the Indians, the Indians, in Asia, they are the one who hold the ancient religions that were here, I guess, before the flood or whatever ruined this old continent. And you see that the technology over here that they possessed is way more advanced than we have today. And,
way more. It was a different style. They used, what they did was they used energy and vibration. They knew the truth about frequency, energy and vibration.
Yes.
And there's stories of there was something that they did to the stone, like they hit the stone they had this tuning fork thing. and they put it on the stone, they'd hit the fork, and that vibration would turn the stone to putty. It would they'd just be able to mold it like it was clay, and then take the thing off, and it would go hard again.
And I think it's related also to free energy, you know, what Tesla meant for us.
Tesla,
and,
exactly.
Yeah. This is the free energy that can, I don't know, that somehow in this world people preferred that energy won't be free, that you'll have to pay for energy.
It's a select few. Right, so what this is, right? So this realm was created for us. We're running around. One of the things within the realm, one of the things that we have to deal with is the fact there's two of you.
All right.
You are more than just you. You are a combination of your physical body and your spirit.
Yeah, of course. The thing is that
so
I just want one mark over here. Like I always, when people ask me, "How are you doing?" All of that. So I always say, for some reason, I don't know why, I say, "We're fine. We're okay." I'm always termed to myself as we. I don't know why. Okay.
Do you know? I noticed that, and I just assumed that you were talking about yourself and your partner. You know, saying, "Yeah, we're fine, man. We're fine." But you were actually speaking about yourself.
Yeah, it's not that I have a split personality or something like that. But I feel that there's like more than one over here, and.
But you know there is because you have conversations with yourself.
Yeah.
In your head, or what? Some people do it out loud. We all do it. Yeah. We all go, da da da. No, don't do that. Or, yeah, but I want to do this. Yeah, but you shouldn't do that. Yeah, but I want to do it. We all do it in one way or another about everything.
Yes.
Absolutely everything. So
I'm a Libra sign, so Libra signs goes, over here and over here. So, so this is exactly me. You're too?
Me too. Yeah. Well, actually, I was born on the cusp of Virgo Libra, so I was born on the 23rd of September.
So you had your preference.
But with the changes in the zodiac, they changed the zodiac over the last couple of years. They added the serpent bearer, they reduced Capricorn and everything, and they've moved the cusp of Virgo Libra. And apparently, I'm a Virgo now, but I'm absolutely not. I'm 100% totally full on Libra. In every way.
I will give you my recap on the astrology. It's for 2 minutes, okay? I for like 20 years or so used to be pretty much involved with astrology. I gave like lectures on that and kind of like researching that. I didn't research it through like books and stuff. Only like by observing humans and their signs and see what's got in common with them. And
correlation between the description of the sign and the actual person.
Yeah, so
themselves,
I kind of like learned it myself, and the thing that I had most trouble with astrology is actually to explain people the technical aspect of it. You see, I could talk about relationship between humans and how each sign affects everyone's actions and choices in life and things like that, but I couldn't really explain. How does the stars, which are shaped, which are like organized in space in some kind of like angles, and they're like thousand light years away, and how their specific angle affects us humans over here in Earth, okay?
So first, straight away, dude. What we all do, and we can't seem to help but do this, but you've slipped into the heliocentric model.
Yeah.
When you're thinking about it, you're thinking about the heliocentric model.
Yeah, exactly.
Billions of light years away. No, they're not.
No. Now the thing is, once I discovered the flat Earth, once flat Earth was discovered for me, I said to myself, okay, the stars are not that far a distance away, they are in the firmament. Okay, this is what it's telling us. So they're really close by. And on top of that, you have the symbols themselves, okay? They somehow, how did the stars get into those symbols that they can reflect animals or any kind of like symbols that we have over here in this world? How does that make sense? But if the stars are in the firmament and it's kind of like creates all kinds of like shapes that are communicating with symbols over here on our flat Earth. So this whole thing, and it kind of like works with interaction between us. Okay, so This thing acts like, and the key word now is a machine. Okay, it works like a machine. It brings like inputs and outputs. It does some kind of like an action that reflects, that affects us as humans over here. Okay, this whole astrology thing, and again, I don't necessarily call it astrology. It's kind of like this whole energetic things, and astrology is just the language of it. Let's say it like that. Okay, but this is how it
Yeah.
works. Okay, the stars are of course not like rocks in space. They are like lights or whatever in the firmament, and they have like another job to do, another work to do to affect us in some kind of way.
So when you read, I've not read the Book of Enoch, but I've certainly looked into excerpts of the Book of Enoch, and I think it's the Book of Enoch where he talks about when the fallen angels, after their transgression, when God, the ones that have done the worst, the ones that have transgressed the worst, he fixes in prisons in the sky, in the firmament. He fixes as stars. They are the fixed stars. They cannot move until the day of judgment, until he passes judgment on the earth. So there's other religions that talk about the stars being reflections of us, of our own state, on earth. Each human, I believe that we relate directly to the stars. We've been told that we've got stardust in us through the heliocentric model, but one of the things that they love to do is the only way that they can sell us the lie is to weave truth into it. That's the only way we ever buy the lies, is because they weave truth into it, and the truth resonates. The truth resonates with people, with real people. Truth resonates in your heart. You know when you've heard something and there's truth in it. So that's the trouble. They've woven truth into everything. They've infiltrated every influential aspect of our lives, and they've woven truth into it here and there. So there are aspects of it that resonate with people, and that's why everybody's going off in tangents. No, that's not the answer. This is the answer. All of them, they're all the answer. Right? It's all. This is what people. This is why I keep saying it's the easiest. The answer to life is how you perceive it. Right? Whatever your life will become, whatever you perceive it to be. And it seems unfair to some people. This is why people struggle with it, particularly Christians or religious people who believe that there's punishment and judgment in store for those people that don't live the right way.
This is when you're, you know what's going on with that? It's like you have two people in your life, okay, that will be your educators, okay, let's say it like that. One is the teacher. He's the one who's going to teach you the information, okay? The other one will be the preacher. Will be the one who will teach you the morality, okay? Your moral.
That should be
now.
That's what's missing in today's society.
No. The problem is, okay, that certain people in today's society take the two positions, okay, into one. You know that you have troubles in your life once your teacher is also your preacher, okay? If you are treating, this is for instance, mainstream media, okay? They are telling you this and this happened. They give you the information what happened, but in the wink of an eye, okay, they're telling you this is right and this is wrong, okay? If you support this one, you're not moral. If you do support us, if you do support the data that we're giving you, so you're okay, so you're morality. And this is the problem. Whenever you have suspect the person or the body or whatever who's playing the two roles of the preacher and the teacher together. This is my warning to people. Now,
I mean,
it
was part of the reason of the argument in America of separation of church and state. It's it's got something to do with that. The two there's two aspects of life that just don't
Mhm.
they don't really mix. They should be kept separate. They should be kept totally separate from each other because they're contrasting views and they're,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
it's So hey, yeah, how you doing? You alright?
Right.
All right.
Listen, Richie, we kind of like forgot. I think most of the conversation that we agreed that we're going to talk on this in this ESH News
Listen, I'm
broadcast.
really bad at this.
But
I'm
we
really
talked.
bad at sending off
Yeah, no, me
tangents,
too.
man.
But we got into lots of other conversation topics that are even more exciting, thrilling, and interesting. And I guess I surely don't want to continue these talks over here, and we'll keep on doing them. I don't know, maybe on a weekly basis or something like that, because I see it's a lot of fun. I have a good interaction with you.
Now, I have so many things
Hmm.
that I'd like to speak to you about.
Yeah.
Either we can either record it, or
Hmm.
if you have the time to do it, you know, to speak privately. I've got so many things I want to discuss with you
Sure.
because it's extremely exciting and interesting for me. I've never had a friend in Israel.
No.
I don't know anybody from Israel. All I know is what I hear, what I've been fed by the MSM
Hmm.
for the last 40 years about
Yeah.
Israel. And you know,
Hmm.
that's not fair
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's not
yeah. Of
right.
course. The thing is that we're not doing right on the media, of course, and because usually it's not only the opinion; also like the what kind of like subject, what kind of fields they choose to cover in Israel. You know,
Oh,
because they always focus on politics and all kinds of like bad things that goes on, and.
yeah.
And I'm not treating even to the state itself. I'm talking about the land, the soil, the actual earth of Israel is holy. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And my
I,
quest over in flat Earth is to try to expose people from other countries to the beauty of Israel and to its holiness and its whole connection to flat Earth and the Bible, of course, and because all the story of the
Absolutely.
Bible is being told, which is being told is inside this holy land, and the Bible itself is on the Hebrew language, which is for me
If we've got
is the
if
most
we've got
important
time,
for I know to understand in order to understand the Bible and to understand all those flat Earth clues that we talk about. The most important thing is to learn the Hebrew language, and I will in the next conversation that we have. I'm gonna tell you a bit about all kinds of like concepts in Hebrew that can interpret it in all sorts of things and explain lots of things. Um, and I think it will be a thrill to
dog.
do so. I think that we're done for today. I have someone at the door right now. So
No
thank you
worries,
very
man. No
much, Richie.
worries.
It's been a pleasure. And we're going to talk soon about all those sorts of things. And
That's been
I
brilliant,
guess
man.
this is it. Thank you, man. And
Excellent.
I'll be in
Excellent.
touch with you soon, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye bye.